Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. It's a beautiful morning. You'll never guess what I did last night. I watched Red Dawn, the remake. And what will surprise you is I've never seen it before. I'm probably the only person in the world, maybe, certainly in the United States, who has never seen Red Dawn. Never wanted to, really. I saw the first one when, it was brand new. Thought it was kind of silly, and I hear all the references, Wolverines and at least now I know what the reference is that some of you have left in the past about the chairs against the wall. Is that it? Something like that. But anyway, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but that's not the that's not the subject of this. The subject of this one is going to be the possibility of an attack from within, and I mean a major attack from within, not the little sporadic things that we have seen in the past. Before we get to that, a reminder that all of my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stone Mott series, the Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. I'm getting pretty good at that, aren't I? The complete guide, the complete plan to preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a complete collapse of everything. And if it doesn't seem like everything's collapsing around us, I don't know what. Those are available both on Amazon. The link is down below. Available in paperback or in Kindle, or you can get them directly from me, and I think that's the best way to do it, directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. That is the link down below. And on the website, you can also get the t-shirts, a whole bunch of different Stone Mott t-shirts. This is an older version of the pine tree, the Where Life is Good one, and I think this is on sand, they call it. It's available in the three different, you can see them on the website. The Where Life is Good, which this is what we call this one. The bar, which has got the crossed axes, the crossed rifles, the Bible, the BAR, I call it the Bible Axe and Rifle, and then the alumnus, the one for the people who have read the books, at least one of them, but most people have read all of them. And when I think it's great, so often I get orders. Now occasionally I'll get an order for like the first one, just the first one. I understand that, because pretty soon I see that I get an order for the next 5. But I'm always gratified when I see an order, somebody's first order for all 6 books. And then when they come back to me, because that shows faith, it shows that they think they're going to like it, they want to read about it. And then when they come back and they tell me, man, I'd read them, I loved them, I learned so much, all that. And that is the truth. I say that I could make videos for 50 years and never cover everything that I've already covered in depth in the books. And that's why I wrote them, a complete guide for people in a great story. It's a fictional story, but I put all of the preparedness lessons and survival lessons, many other lessons in there. It's about people, it's about community, it's about family, and it is about preparing for and surviving the very worst of what could happen. So those are those are on stonemont.us. And I forgot to mention the shirts are available in a multitude of colors. Sand, which this is, ash, military green, a real pretty one that is becoming maybe the most popular, and I think I like it the best. It's called the Royal Pine, and then sage. They're all pretty, and they're all high quality t-shirts, so you can order those on the website. Show that you're a Stone Motter, right? And I love it when people come up to me when I'm wearing a Stone Mott shirt and say something about it. So stonemont.us. Now let's get to this subject. One more thing, I'm being much more selective on what I put on YouTube now. More stuff is going on Patreon. If you're not with us on Patreon, you do well to join us. The link is down below. It's only $1 a month. And maybe someday I'll explain why I'm becoming more selective. But pretty soon, most everything's going to, I mean, everything already is over there, but less stuff is going to be on Patreon, on YouTube. Okay, so I'm watching this movie last night, Red Dawn, and you know, the funny thing is, the interesting thing is, I wrote a story, the beginning of a story, in high school about, and it's scary how close it is to the scenario of Red Dawn. It was about the invasion by Russia. Was the first one from Russia? I forget. Well, it seemed like there was Cubans, or I forget. It's been, you know, so long. It's kind of like Roadhouse, you know, a classic that I only saw once and never cared to watch again. But my book was about, or my story, it wasn't a book, my story was about a Russian invasion, and they had made it to Yakima, Washington. And years later, when this Red Dawn came out, I thought, wow, isn't that weird? Because that was, I mean, I wrote that in 1970, something like that. But anyway, it was, when I watched last night, it was not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. It's one of those movies, it's one of those, if you really like action stuff, shoot 'em up, explosions, you know, unrealistic actions by people that still, you know, get people stirred up. You know, it's not bad. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. The acting wasn't bad. You know, I mean, it was in some places, but, you know, it's a movie. There's always going to be some of that. The acting was pretty good in some places. The who was the guy that played the older brother, the Marine? Is that Chris something or other? I don't watch movies, so I don't know. Probably every one of you out there knows this, except me. So it's one of those movies you could sit around, you know, with a Yingling, with everybody else, and go and, you know, and pick it apart. Here's what they should have done instead of what they did. Here's what they shouldn't have done that they did do. You know, that's interesting. As I got to thinking, it may have seemed, I won't say silly, I will say unrealistic, because it's set here in the United States. But had we been watching a movie, had this movie been about a group of young, you know, resistance fighters in Czechoslovakia or Yugoslavia or wherever, you know, of 40, 50 years ago, I mean, it would have been held up as a wonderful movie. People would have been cheering it, right? So a lot of it's depending on, you know, the setting and the time and all of that. So all in all, I'm going to give it a pretty good rating. I can't say that I hated watching it. You know, I can't say that I'll watch it again, but again, it's a movie with lessons. Okay, now, but that reminded me of something that I have been thinking for a while, and I don't think I've ever talked about it on here, and that is the true, and what I would consider a potential danger for an attack from within. It's certainly the way that I would do it, and it's not all those little hits and misses that we see, the explosion here, the train derailment there, the mass shooting here and there and everywhere. And in order to understand what I'm about to lay out, just think about this. Think about the fact that the cartels have a presence in pretty much every county, certainly every large city, every medium-sized city, every small-sized city. If you think they don't, well, okay. If there's drugs, if there's fentanyl coming in there, they have a presence there. They may not have, you know, cartel members in the town, though many do. The big cities, certainly, the mid-sized cities do. Smaller cities, maybe not so much, but they have a presence there with their pipeline. And that these pipelines are not just for drugs, which are already killing a lot of people, but they are human trafficking pipelines. They are money pipelines. They are destroying this country from within. Now, when you realize, oh, you put that over here, and then you take this. Now, when you see all the Chinese that have come into our country, first they come in through the universities, and now they're coming across the southern border. And we don't have to get into why that is, and whether our government is allowing it or promoting it. That's a different discussion. It doesn't matter. What matters is they're here. So when you see the Chinese, and you figure that from all the information that we have, many of them are aligned with the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, the CCP, Communist Party, Chinese Communist Party. And we know that they have infiltrated our country, and not just here and there, but big time. I mean, thousands, right? What would I do if I were China and I wanted to cause a major problem in the United States? You can put this into your own Canada, if you live in Canada, Australia, if you live in Germany and England, you have your own invasions over there. What I would do is I would select a large town, small city of somewhere around 20 to 30,000 people, and I would have all these assets. Let's sound real cool. Let's sound tactical. Have all these people. Let's just keep it real. Have all of these infiltrators gather in this small town. You would find a town that was fairly easily defended, minimal roads in and out. Mountainous areas would be very good with that. Plains areas would be good with that. I wouldn't think that east of the Mississippi would be all that good about, but anywhere west of the Mississippi, between there and the mountains before you get to coastal California, would be good. You get all your people in there, and you probably get about, doesn't matter, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 of your people in there. You seal down this town. You take over this town. You hold this town hostage, and you control. And then the media is just going to go nuts, right? Social media will go nuts. The fact that this is going on is going to get out very quickly, and you're going to hold this town hostage. Well, what's going to happen as a result of that? Now, right now, I'm going to caution anything that you can think of right now after during watching my video or after having watched it, anything that you can think of as a response to that, they've already thought of times 10. Okay? These people are not stupid. These people are very, very bright, and they think about this and they plan this all the time. This is what they do, While the average person who may comment on a video is, living their life or thinking about other things, these people are thinking about every possible scenario they can, and they've already worked out. Probably much better than I'm going to lay out here, because I'm not going to try to lay out every little bit, although I'm thinking about writing a book about it. I'll put that out there right now. So anything you can come up with, they've already thought of, and they have planned and prepared for. So they have all their people in there. What do they have with them? They have pre-stage all the equipment they would need. They have food for years, okay? That they have, one of their guys posing as a truck driver, two of their guys, they have driven through, and that truck is packed with food for them, not the people of the city, right? For them. So they bring it in, and they announce to the world, we have taken over such and such. And their purpose is going to be several things. It's going to be to poke the United States in the eye, or the West in the eye. And there are other groups, other international groups that would be happy to help them do this, right? Okay. So they're not going to be short of resources. You know who's going to be short of resources? We are. Because once they've locked that town down, and corralled everybody in the town, and it's going to be, it's going to be different than what Red Dawn portrayed, but it can be anything they want. Yeah, they can put them in shipping containers, they can put them in the gym, they can put them anywhere, but they've already planned this out. They know exactly where they're going to put them by the time they launch their operation, and the people are going to be totally unprepared for it. Now, people will say, well, I would fight back. Okay, you cannot fight back. You can fight back against it, you will die. Simple as that. You will die. It's up to you whether you think that's worth it or not. Are you a lone person? Maybe one thing. Do you have a family? Do you have children? You're going to make different decisions. So they've got to lock this down, let the world know we have taken over such and such from the great Satan, and then they're going to start bargaining with our government. Who's going to be the first response on something like this? It's going to be the local sheriff's deputy, of which there's 1 to 15 or 20. What do you think they're going to do? It's not going to be one of those one riot, one ranger things, which is a lie anyway. Most people have heard that wrong. They don't realize what the real story of that is. That's not going to make any difference. These people have sealed it up. It is but it's a big one. It's not necessarily going to be an Alamo situation, because remember, our government is not going to attack that place. There are 20,000, 30,000, whatever, American citizens in there, including women and children. Okay, and that makes a difference in the American psyche. So they start bargaining with the U.S. government. What are they going to bargain for? We're never going to know what they are bargaining for or what our government gives up. It will give up a bunch. So they lock it. So what's the next wave coming in? Well, state police, everybody from anywhere around the state, all law enforcement. National Guard is next. How many do they have? Not nearly enough, and not trained up the way they need to be to run a successful assault or rescue of anything like this. Anything. Not going to happen. What they're going to do, the extent of their response is going to be sitting at posts on highways talking on their radios. That's it. Now, one of the first things you do in a hostage situation, which this would be, is you shut off the power. Okay? You shut off the power. Do you think that's going to make any difference? Do you think they haven't thought about that? Do you think they don't have everything they can possibly need in there? They do. They've already brought it, because they've been planning this for a year, maybe more. They brought it on trucks. They brought it on cars. All of their people. By the time all these people swarmed into that town, everything is already there that they need. They don't need outside electricity. They don't need outside gas. They don't need outside water. They don't need outside food deliveries. Okay? They don't need outside anything. So what do? What does our government do? They talk. They plan. There will be many, many meetings with many, many people planning. And we'll get people like General Milli Vanilli, making plans. And the head of the state police making plans. And the National Guard making plans. And talking about things. And somebody will come up with an idea and somebody else will shoot it down. And here's why that won't work. And in the end, they're going to find that there's not a lot they can be able to do. And say, well, we can wait them out. Okay, wait them out for how long? I'm sure they've got food for a year or two, right? So what are you going to guess who's going to start first in there? And guess who's going to be uplinked to the worldwide? And they can shut this stuff off, I understand that, but the information is going to get out. Why? Because they've already planned for it. See, they know exactly what our responses can be, for which they have planned. Well, we can send our troops in there. Yeah, where are they? All around the world, right? Well, we can bring in special forces from Fort Lewis. What's it called now? Joint Base Lewis or something like that? We can bring them up from Fort Campbell. We can bring them back from overseas. Well, I mean, those guys are exceptional, but, you know, there's a limit. I mean, they're not supermen. And to go up against something like this, and it's not that these people, don't think that these people aren't exceptional themselves. These are some real hard asses. Real hard asses. Anybody that comes up in the Chinese military or the Russian military, they ain't sissies. And the cartels ain't sissies. These are people who are used to things beyond what most people can imagine. So what do? Not going to bomb them. You know, and kill 20,000 American citizens. You going to raid them? Well, good luck. I mean, you might probably take out a few. Again, they've been planning this for several years. You think that an ad hoc plan is going to be successful against this? Well, Steve, we have things that you don't know about. Yeah, I probably do. Probably have things you don't know about. Okay? But all the things that we don't know about, you don't know whether they're going to be successful in a situation like this either. And neither do I. But I would suggest that they wouldn't, as long as there are hostages involved. You know, I mean, when we had a barricaded subject or a hostage situation, we'd just take it down to the very small area. It was totally, it changed the dynamics totally from whether it was just an Operation 100 or a barricaded subject, and whether they had a hostage or more than one hostage. Totally different dynamics. So as our country continues to bargain and talk and think and have meetings and all like this, the people in there are first starting to starve. The American citizens, not the occupying force, and they're going to be shown. They're going to be linked, satellite linked, and that's going to go all over the world. We may not get it here. Our government might jam it to us. They're not going to jam it everywhere. And, you know, we have jamming capabilities. Crying out loud. You don't think China has thought about this, right? I mean, they got all their stuff from us. They stole all their stuff from us, right? Some was given. You know, Bill Clinton, thank you very much. Obama, thank you very much. Biden, thank you very much. This is not probably going to result in a rescue operation. Somebody would be too dangerous. They could send a secret gas and put everybody to sleep, and then they could go in and zip tie all the bad guys and then release all the good people. I have no words for what I would respond to that statement. So what's going to happen? It's going to be a bargaining tool. It's going to show do you remember the Iran hostage situation? What was it, 444 days? They showed the weakness all over the world. The weakness of the great United States. This is going to be one of their purposes. And then they're going to bargain. And our government will give them just about everything they want. Oh, you want the state of North Dakota? Well, I guess we could arrange that. Whatever they want. Okay. They're going to get. One of the things that's going to be included in that is going to be a get out of jail free card for everybody who participated in the situation. Now you can say, well, yeah, you know, and then we could pull a Mossad deal, and after they go away, we could track them all down and assassinate them. Good luck. Not going to happen. There will be some who say they can't do that. This country, that area, whatever it is full of veterans. You know, I've heard that. Well, okay, listen. Half of those veterans are beyond, well, more, probably, 80% of those veterans are beyond prime fighting age. Many of those veterans have never had combat experience. I don't care about the guy who worked in the motor pool or, was a clerk or anything like that. There may be fine people, but don't confuse them with a combat veteran. Many of the combat veterans are old. Many are out of shape. Many of them are fat. Many of them just, they're not the ones who are going to, they're not the sleek, tightened up, high speed, low drag people that people envision. Just because somebody's a veteran doesn't mean. Okay. Well, you can't tell, the country boys and aren't. No, they're not up to the task. They might be fine people. They might be great in a bar fight. They might be able to wrestle a steer to the ground. But up against a pre-planned operation like this, against a combination of, extremely hard, beyond the kind of hard that most people can imagine here in the States, military and cartel type people, they wouldn't stand a chance. We'd end up with a bunch of heads on stakes, to be real honest. I find this mental operation, this scenario, to be interesting. What is the preparedness for this? I'll be interested to hear everything you all have to say about it, but realize anything that you come up with, an invading force will have thought of. So, it's an interesting fantasy game to play. And I think I might write a book about it. It's not going to turn out well. And I think it very possibly could happen. It's not going to turn out well for us. And I think it very possibly could happen. So, like I say, leave your comments if you like. But what I would suggest, again, use this as a mental exercise. Suppose this happened to me. Now here's one of those things. I live in a large metropolitan area. It's not going to happen here. Not going to happen here, so I don't really have to think about it. It could happen in a couple of my alternative locations. Okay, so if you live in a smaller town, here's one of those things. You probably don't want to run to the hills. You probably want to run to the cities. Right? That would be an interesting turn of events there, wouldn't it? Yeah. So think about it. By the way, we have some just exceptional. I can't wait to read the comments on Patreon. And I'll say this again, guys, if you are, Patreon is the really smart, serious people. That's not a slam on the YouTube viewers at all. What it is depends on what the meaning of is. If you are really serious, and if you really want extra stuff, and if you have something if you're the one of the people that leave the excellent comments on YouTube, and there's plenty of you, you need to be on Patreon. More stuff is going to move to Patreon. You need to be there. You'll miss on a lot of stuff in the future. You can join for $1 a month. That's fine. You'll get most of the stuff. You can do the Stone Mountain level for $5 a month. That'll get you even more. I'm about to do one for the Stone Mountain level people today on what to do if you're rated. Okay? What to do if you're rated. Things that I've never heard anybody talk about that are important. So come join us the link is down below for Patreon. Come join us. Things are about to change. I'll just say that. Things are about to change. So anyway, that's the scenario for today. I found Red Dawn interesting. I didn't find it believable because I don't think that's how they do it. I think that if they were going to do something like that, they'd do it more the way that I have set out here. So keep it in mind. Think about it. Think about it. How would you survive that? What planning do you need to do? Even if you don't think that is a real possibility, the planning that you put into that is going to help you in other areas. Okay? All right. Let's wrap this up. Remember, because I got to get making that other one. All of this and all my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. They are available. The links are down below. Either Amazon, you can get them paperback or Kindle, or directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. It's down below. All the books are available there. You can get them autographed by me. All the t-shirts are available there, and there is something else coming. So make sure that you stay up on the stonemont.us website and stay up on what's going on. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Think about this, and how would you prepare? You all have a good day. Bye-bye.